Good morning. Today I'm going to tell you about a clearing that I just completed this past weekend. I received a phone call from a woman who was desperate. She was remodeling a home and they were having all kinds of problems. They had contractors brawling with each other, all physical altercations. They had a worker step off of a 3 foot ladder and broke his leg. They've had multiple unexplainable accidents, and it just has been going on and on and on. And they weren't meeting the time frame of which they had to get this house remodeled, and it was very, very difficult. And the general contractor and the electrical contractor were both concerned about going into certain rooms. They didn't like it in those rooms. They felt horrible. The owner was just feeling this energy that was just so prevalent and so constant. The architect was just, would you please help? Yes, somebody help, because it was a real cesspool. In the end, I deleted multiple vortexes, multiple portals, and 62 different entities. Some of them from this planet, some of them not from this planet. So when there's a haunting going on, it's oftentimes not just ghosts, somebody that has lived a life and died. Although the people, the mother or the husband and wife who actually had built the home in 1950, they were still hanging around. And they were trying to discourage any type of remodeling, and in fact, they weren't interested in anybody making any changes to the house at all. And as I walked around the house, I walked around the property, I kept on hearing, don't do this. We have worked so hard to create this. Don't do this. Don't eliminate what's going on here. But you see, they didn't own the house, and the person that was remodeling the house was desperate. She says, anything it takes, anything, just get up here, please, and deal with this. So I went up there. Both Sandy and I always do these clearings together. And it was, again, like some other homes that we've dealt with, way over the top. And there were rooms that felt so horrible that nobody wanted to go in them. And that's not good in a home where you're remodeling everything. And I ended up clearing it and everything in it. And some of it was some really nasty energy that is unexplainable because it wasn't even of this world, and that's why it feels so horrible. And in the end, we made statements to go ahead and clear the house and create a new energy, and everybody, the electrical contractor, the general contractor, architect, and the owner were there with Sandy and I, and they could tell the difference. And it was truly profound because they began to feel like it was just a normal house. And so it was a very successful weekend. And then we went over to the owner's restaurant, in which case I closed or cleared a 24 diameter vortex, which was just huge. It took about 30 minutes for just standing in that energy to go ahead and deal with it. And then went into the basement of the building as well and dealt with a shapeshifter. And so this process, I dealt with a shapeshifter, a Gradoran, a Zortorzig, and a Lakantan. And they're not from this planet. And I also dealt with a lot of humans and the man and the woman that originally owned the house, and they left. And I also dealt with a Patoris. A Patoris is a humanoid energy with a wolf-like face, and it has, instead of ears that stick up, it has ears that droop down in that. And it was just strange. And so it was successful, and it takes its toll on me physically, but I come back around again. And in the end, she was very happy with what we had completed. And just understand that what you don't see, if you don't see it, doesn't mean it isn't there. If you can't feel it, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. But when you do feel it, trust your intuition. If you sense there's something around you, there is. We keep being told as we're growing up, oh, my child has this playhood friend, or says that there's a ghost in the closet. Kids can see this. Kids are very adaptive. And it's time when they grow, then their energy begins to change because the density on this planet begins to encourage this shift for them. But kids can see this, and they're not imaginary friends. As adults should go ahead and take a lesson from kids. Pay attention. If they say there's something there, they're not going to make this up. Kids aren't about making this up. Kids are about seeing what's real. Seeing what's real in what you can't see and seeing what's real in people. So I encourage you, just as this woman did, she was looking for help. She could feel the energy was there. She needed some shifting to take place, and she gave me a call. If anybody's ever interested, the website through which I can be connected with is called GreatTreeHealing.com. GreatTreeHealing.com. It's just 3 words, one right after the other. And there are others that are associated with this site, and we do both direct connection and remote. I've had a request from an individual in Ireland to do a clearing. She's been in a mental health facility. I already cleared the energy for a man that was a friend of mine in Ireland. And he is way better. He is so much better, and he's so appreciative. She's so appreciative. Now they've told somebody else. And now I'm going to do a remote clearing on another woman in Ireland. And she's been possessed. And possession is something that is, whether you believe it or not, it's very constant. Everybody on this planet is affected by an energy in some way. Anger, hatred, resentment, frustration, anything that alters your disposition. If you're being awakened in the middle of the night and you don't know why, and it's constant. One of the things that's taking place for people is I'm waking up 4 o'clock every night, but they don't know why they're being woke up. But there's something around them, playing with them. 4 o'clock, here it is, wake up, and they can't get back to sleep again. So just understand that there is a lot there. And if you feel it, trust yourself. This is a message I give to everybody. Trust yourself. Don't let somebody else say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You're making this up. It doesn't matter what somebody else says. It matters what you know. And when you know it, and trust it. So it's a horrible thing to be controlled and possessed and owned. And I just completed, took me a direct connection with a woman, another woman here in the Twin Cities. And I told her I'm going to connect with you remotely now for the next 2 weeks, and I believe it'll be gone by then. And I connected with her 10 days later, and she said she was so much better. And this was an entity that was lifting her leg and throwing her arm out and moving her toes and moving her fingers and talking to her constantly and telling her that it owned her. And I dealt with it. Sometimes it's not overnight. I'd like it to be, but it's not, because sometimes the energy is intertwined. And this entity had been connected to her for 17 years. Well, when 17 years passes, there's an evolution and an intertwining of energy, almost like a fabric that takes place, and you can't pull it apart, so you got to begin to dissolve it. And as I connect with them, then they become free. Most people don't even realize the majority of people in mental institutions that are considered insane or psychotic are possessed. There's something with them. Medication is only going to mask and slow them down and alter. But what are they? They're possessed, and something owns them and has destroyed their life. And this is something I also do. I work with possessed people. So just know there's more to the unseen realm than you can even imagine. And if it's there and you sense it, it probably is. So trust yourself. Because when people call me, they say, I believe there's something there. As I'm connecting with their energy immediately, it's like, yeah, you have 6 in your home. Yeah, you have 12. Yeah, you have 3. Yeah, there's 2 connected to you. They've been connected for the last 18 years. These are things that just show up for me. So understand that it's a crazy world out there, and there's a lot of crazy people, but most of it is happening because of the unseen realm connected to these individuals. And no matter how we try to create a balance in this universe and on this planet, until they're no longer controlled, it's going to be a problem for them. So, thank you very much for taking time to listen to this. I appreciate it. I'm Ricky Lee Schuster. Catch you next time.